Hello everyone, and it's Brexit time again. The Labour Party's stance on Brexit has been a critical issue for years, but in recent months it has come to the forefront again. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, has made it clear reversing Brexit is off the table. But the consequences of Brexit continue to weigh heavily on the UK. Businesses are struggling with red tape, trade relations are fractured, and the economy is under strain. And Starmer has repeatedly said he wants to reset relations with the European Union to help the British economy. But here's the problem. Labour's refusal to consider rejoining the EU, despite not being possible at the moment, but even the single market or the customs union means that there's a serious limit to what he can do. The so-called red line of not reversing Brexit has left Labour stuck in a difficult position. On one hand, they want to repair the economic damage caused by Brexit. On the other hand, they are not willing to take the steps that could provide real solutions, like rejoining the single market, as hard as that would be. And this brings us to a key figure in the latest debate, and that's Emily Thornberry. Thornberry, the new chair of the powerful Commons Foreign Affairs Committee, has made it clear she wants to push Starmer to go further. She's spoken about undoing the harms of Brexit, calling out the flaws in the deal signed by Boris Johnson. She says the agreement is full of almighty great holes and that these need to be plugged. And Thornberry isn't suggesting rejoining the EU, but she's calling for real practical steps to smooth the way. One of her key points is about cutting unnecessary checks at the border. And this is a huge issue for businesses, especially small businesses. Many of them have found it so difficult to trade with the EU post-Brexit that they've simply given up. And Thornberry says there is no need for this friction, and she's right. The complexity of post-Brexit regulations has made it incredibly hard for companies to export to the EU. And if Labour wants to see economic growth, they are going to have to tackle this issue and that head on. And Thornberry believes Labour can develop a proper trading relationship with the EU even without rejoining it. She's confident that Labour, with full confidence, can build a better relationship with the EU than the one they have right now. But here's the catch. Starmer is cautious. He's promised a reset in relations with the EU, but he's not going as far as many in his own party would like. In fact, he recently disappointed supporters when he rejected the idea of a youth mobility scheme with the EU before the next election. That decision was seen as a missed opportunity to build goodwill with the rest of Europe. And yet, Thornberry is pressing forward. She got a list of improvements she wants to see, and she's not shy about pushing the government to act. She's called for mutual recognition of safety standards and professional qualifications between the UK and the EU. And this would go a long way in easing the strain businesses are feeling. She also highlights the need to improve digital services and remove unnecessary checks at the borders. For many small businesses, these checks are the difference between staying afloat and sinking. If the government doesn't address this, they risk stifling growth at a time when the economy desperately needs it. And Thornberry's message is clear. They need to get closer to their European friends and not further away. And she's made an interesting point about the UK's trade deals outside of Europe. She's questioned the point of signing fragile trade agreements with countries on the other side of the world while dismantling stronger agreements with their neighbors in Europe. And it's a valid criticism. The previous government under Boris Johnson pushed hard for deals like the CPTPP, the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. I talked a lot about this on this channel before. But as Thornberry points out, why are they focusing on distant markets when their biggest trading partner is right on their doorstep? The EU remains the UK's largest trading partner, yet they are making it harder to do business with them. And Labour's challenge is clear. They need to fix the problems caused by Brexit as far as it is even possible, but without crossing their red line of not rejoining the EU. And this is a delicate balancing act Starmer has to manage. On one side, you have people like Thornberry who want a closer relationship with the EU and probably would accept some EU control over the standards. And on the other side, you have the political reality that reversing Brexit is a non-starter. The question is, can Labour deliver the economic recovery they promise without making the most bold moves some believe are necessary? For many, it's hard to see how they'll do it without going back to the table with the EU in a bigger way. And Thornberry's vision of cutting red tape, improving trade relations, and building a more pragmatic partnership with Europe is certainly appealing to many. But it remains to be seen how much of this Labour will actually be able to implement under Starmer's leadership. The party has a real opportunity here to show that they can fix what's broken without having to undo Brexit entirely. But whether they'll take that opportunity or stick to the cautious path Starmer has laid out, that's the real question, how much afraid they are from Brexiteers and their propaganda. Brexit has left scars on the UK economy, and Labour's challenge is to heal them without reopening the old wounds of the Brexit debate. It's a tricky line to walk, but if they can pull it off, it could reshape the UK's future for the better. The pressure is mounting, and as Labour moves forward, all eyes will be on how far they are willing to go to repair the damage. Will they simply patch up the holes in Johnson's Brexit deal, or will they push for a more radical reset with Europe? That's the question Thornberry is asking, and it's one that Labour and the country will have to answer soon. And I'm quite sure that there will be a lot of controversy in the comments right now. And if you want to see the next video, it's right here in the end screen.